You're now tuned in to The Soulful Stir with Tash and Symoné.
All right, we live.
What's up, y'all?
Happy Sunday.
It's Sunday.
Welcome to another episode from the cold Midwest. Another episode of The Soulful Stir. I'm Symoné.
And it's Tash.
What's going on in your world, Tash?
Man, nothing. Just trying to make it. It's, It's a weird time for me. My birthday about to come up. Jesus' birthday about to come up.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm just here, maxing and relaxing.
Same. I think, Same. It's early, y'all, but I think this is like the most relaxation I've been able to get in, which I'm taking advantage of it as much as I can. Because like I said last episode, it's about to get real busy for your girl. So I just been crossing some things off my list that I've been holding off on and prepping for my birthday trip. Also, I'm actually really excited today because I'm going to the opera with my mom, and she's never been to an opera.
I was just about to say, how is this about to go?
I don't know. I think she's gonna enjoy it because she does like live performances and stuff, but she just doesn't tend to go as often as she would like to, or as often as I do. So, and it also depends on what it is, like whether she gonna want to go or not. She is very particular, but I think she's gonna like this one. So I'll report back and let you know how she handles the day. I do want to jump into Mind, Body, and Balance. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Let's do it.
So lately I've been like having this thought of I should just I'll keep my cell phone, but leave it at home more often than not. And then just get a house phone, like a landline. I think that everybody should have a landline. And I just feel like I was just thinking about how life was when we were kids. And when you were gone for the day, you were gone for the day. Mm-hmm. Like, I call you when I get back. You leave me a voicemail, whatever. Like, that was when voicemails became a thing.
In my very first house, the first house I bought, when did I buy that house? It had to be in 2012, I think. But I had a landline literally until I moved to go to law school. Like, when I left to go to law school, I ended up renting the house out to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So naturally, I cut the service off. But I actually had a cordless phone, a landline, everything, because once again, also, I think at that time, my house was like in a newer construction area. So you couldn't even put my cell phone, my address in your cell phone and pull it up on GPS. Like, it would take you to the edge of the road and stop before you even get into our complex. And I had to have because of that, it was like it wasn't a new area, but there weren't a lot of cell phone towers up. So I had to get like a Wi-Fi extender for Verizon to make sure I had phone service in my house. So when I realized that, I got a landline immediately, because I was a single woman. I was young. I mean, I bought my first house. I was probably 23, 24. And I wasn't trying to be in no house without no phone. Not that I needed it, but I'm just saying for safety reasons. And I was just always of that school of thought of you need to have a house phone just in case.
Yeah, no, my mom was always like that. Like, she always believed in having a landline phone in case of a power outage or, whatever, like service outage. But I feel like there's definitely a high level of freedom that comes with not having your phone on you all the time, not being so openly accessible as we become to other people. And also, with becoming openly accessible to people begin to have this feeling of entitlement. They want you to respond to them.
Just don't answer the phone.
I mean, yeah.
I literally train people. All my friends will say, don't call Tash because she's not going to answer the phone. Because that's the rule. You're not going to just get in touch with me because you want to. I could be in the house right now. You could text me. I look at that motherfucker. I respond to it when I want to. Because I'm protecting my peace. I do it with everybody. Like, my mama called me, what do you want? She'll be like, nothing. Okay, girl, I ain't trying to talk right now. I got to call you back. I'm just answering the phone because I love you.
For me, it's more of the even just the fact that the phone rings or that I have it, because I would be more inclined to like open my phone if I have it, or even, just not even with the phone ringing, but getting on social media and wanting to surf, and just, aimlessly scroll on socials just because I can, because it's at the palm of my hands. If I leave the phone at home, then I don't have that. And I'm actually forcing myself to fully engage and interact with being present, with being in the space that I'm in, the people that I'm around, or if I'm not around people, just being within my own energy and exploring truly without my phone. And I noticed that more and more when I'm out now, I don't pull out my phone. Like, it'll just be in my pocket or in my bag, and I might check it before, like, say if I'm having dinner, I'll check it before I go into the restaurant, and I'll check it when I get out to see like if I missed anything, and just call it a day. Sometimes I'll just check it when I get home. I don't know, I just feel like more and more I'm moving away from my phone. So I did a little bit of a deep dive into some stats and like health things related to your phone, and how actually sleeping with our phones outside of our rooms can be beneficial. I have a friend who, we were talking about this whole concept of like, our phones and, leaving your phone at home, getting a landline, and like kind of trying to move back into that way of living. And she told me that she doesn't sleep with her phone in her room. She actually keeps it like downstairs. So she's like, there's no phone like nowhere around her. She said, but it's the same way like that we, grew up, most of us, where the phone was, downstairs. You didn't have a cell phone.
I always had a cordless phone on my nightstand. Like, I had my own phone line. At probably like 9 or 10 years old, my mama got tired of me. When I was in like 4th or 5th grade, my mama got tired of me tying up the house phone. Anybody that know me, 770-987-8446. I had my own phone line from maybe 4th or 5th grade up until I moved out of my parents' house. Yeah, so I've always had it in, but which is weird, but that's probably why I'm like I am now with the not talking on the phone, not giving a damn, because I had it so much. I had access to that back in the day. Like, I had my own phone line. I had my own voicemail, call ID box. People knew they could call my line and wasn't nobody gonna pick up their phone but Tash. Like, it was just me. And we also used it for the landline internet too. Don't get me wrong. But can I say,
I love the idea of tying up a phone line.
Yes.
Like, that's so nostalgic.
My mama used to have to do the emergency breakthrough on my ass. Like, I used to be on 3-way. Keep keying all day. My mama would do the emergency breakthrough, and we would hear somebody. They'd be like, "Is that your mama?" My mama would be like, "Tash, get your ass off that phone. I've been trying to call you for 30 minutes now." Like, and I'll be like, "Okay, I gotta hang up." But that's why my mama ended up putting a second line in, because her and my stepdad would need to use the phone. My mom's a cosmetologist, so she needed to have access to her phone. Like, they had cell phones and stuff too, and that's another thing. Like, my mom and my stepdad used to have cell phones back in the day, like the old school Nokias. And before I had a cell phone, they used to let me take theirs. Like, if I went out to the movies with my friends or something, they was about to be at home, my mama would give me her phone, or my stepdad would give me his. I would be walking around with a Florida State cover on a cell phone, like, because he was a big Florida State football fan. But I've always had access to that. So that's why now even if my phone is next to me, I will act like I don't see it, because I've always had that. Like,
that's so interesting, because that was not always a reality for me. And I remember being as young as 9. I think I definitely got my first cell phone when I was in 6th grade. It was a minute phone. When those minutes was up, you had to wait to get your next minute card. You were out of luck. But I had a cell phone then in 6th grade. Before that, no phone. We had a landline. My mom had a cell phone, but we couldn't afford to have like a separate phone line in the house. That was just going to be an extra bill that was like, yeah, no, I'm not paying for that. But I think that too, I also didn't talk as much, I would say, then to people on the phone. So it really it would kind of be a waste, like, in that case. But I can see why your parents would invest in another phone line, or, feel like you would need another streamline of communication.
Well, that was also, like I was saying too, back in the day of landline internet. So we had to have, my mom didn't want us. It's so funny because now I think about my childhood, I think it's a lot more privileged than I thought it was at that time. But I had the computer at the house. Like when I was 9, my grandfather for Christmas that year, he bought me a brand new, at that time I think it was Dell. And we had the whole Dell setup. But because my grandfather bought it for me, because it was supposed to be for school, it was in my room. And my parents would get mad because I would be up all night in the AOL chat room putting lyrics of raps and stuff. And they got tired of me using the internet all the time on that line. So my mama ended up getting it. She gave it to me it was presented as, this is going to be your phone line. This is a number, blah, blah, blah. But I was also supposed to share that phone line with the house for the internet. But once again, this was in the era and time of, my parents might ask me to get on the internet, do something quick and easy, but they weren't on the internet on a regular basis. So essentially it was just my phone line and for me to use the internet. I just didn't like it because
for the young people, I
couldn't get on the internet and use the phone at the same time, which is what I wanted to do. So I used to get in trouble because my mom was like, you can't use the internet and use our phone line. Like I would try to get on the internet on my phone line and use their phone to call and report what I done seen online. And that's when the issues started. But don't get me wrong, Charmaine didn't play that shit. When I got in trouble, my mama would come and take my entire phone. I was not supposed to be on the phone. She would take the whole cord it off, wrap that cordless phone up, and it used to be in her room until she was ready to give it back. Because she knew I couldn't access the phone. Yeah, she knew I couldn't access the phone any other way.
For the young people listening to this pod, there was a time in history where you could not get on the internet and use the phone at the same time because your internet connection required the use of a phone service line. Mm-hmm. So us talking about this is just so nostalgic because I'm thinking about me being in the den and doing the same thing, like being on MySpace, on Bebo, tying up the phone line, having to wait for the dial up, you get that little noise that would power up the internet before you could get on. Yep. But yeah, I think that all of this like really encompasses to me a power of being mindful around our phones. And so there's a lot of different stats as to how sleeping with our devices outside of our room can be beneficial. I'll just name a couple. So it says that there's a disruption of sleep that occurs due to the blue light from our phones, our devices that we get. It suppresses melatonin, which is a sleep hormone. And it also suppresses mental stimulation from, it actually induces mental stimulation from the notifications on your phone. So those constant beeps and, chimes that you get. Yeah, all of that is tapping into your healthy sleep pattern and making it not so healthy.
Well, that's what I don't know. Maybe it's me. I had my phone set on actual ring the other day because I was waiting on a call to come in from the state bar. And the first time my phone dinged because it was a notification, it scared the living shit out of me. I was like, what is going on? What is that noise? I don't have any notifications on for anything. Like even if the only things I have like notifications on are like work related things. Like if my phone is on to hear a beep. But like usually my phone is on silent or do not disturb most of the time. Like I don't think I ever have my phone on an audible ring. So I think that's why I don't think it bothers me with the phone because it's mine. I keep it. It's not gonna notify me of nothing anyway.
Yeah, my phone, I usually keep it on vibrate or silent, so I don't get those either, but some people do. So those constant alerts and dings and buzzes, it actually like forces you to want to engage in content or see what's going on, constantly picking up your phone. They say that some people using their phones at bedtime often get less sleep overall, and then that leads to insomnia and reduced REM sleep, which is that healthy sleep cycle that we need to get a full night's rest. So there's a lot more stats that are correlated with having our devices in our room, but it's largely attributed to the things that I just listed. So even that got me like,
Well, I know you're saying that about the phone. I don't really have I'm not gonna say I don't agree with the phone. Like I do think people need better sleep, but I guess you have to do what works for you. And I don't like that because if I have to get up, like I work from home a lot and I respond from stuff from my phone. So I like to be able to roll over, respond, and be still in the bed. Like I don't want to have to get up and go get my phone because once I get up, then I'm gonna start doing other stuff. And I have to force myself to be intentional about rest and stuff because if not, I'll run crazy. But one of the things that's for whatever reason it's so controversial when I tell people this, and I don't understand why, but I don't have a TV in my bedroom. Like that's something I don't really believe in at all. Only time I ever had a TV in my room as an adult is when me and Royce, like, you know, we were living together as a family, and I was living with my baby daddy. That's because he wanted a TV in the room. And sometimes we would put it on for Royce. Like, if he came in our room and we just kind of wanted to go back to sleep, we would put like a little cartoon or something on for him and let him do his thing. But I don't believe in having a TV in my room. Like, that's just something I feel like in my room, it's just supposed to be kind of serene. And I feel like the TV just takes away from that. Like, you know, this big box sitting somewhere. Like, it's just calm. And people always trip when I say that. Like, you have a TV in your room? I'm like, nope. Because I was telling my cousins, they were coming over here one day and they were bringing their kids. And I was like, y'all, where they going to go? Because my house ain't kid friendly. I don't have another TV in another room that they could go watch. They was like, what? I'm one person. I only need one TV.
Yeah,
I can only watch one thing at a time.
You think I'm in here with 3 TVs on? And what's,
like, I can only watch one thing at a time. And then half the time I watch it on my iPad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I was like that in college, actually. I didn't have a TV in my room. I had a TV in my dorm, my first dorm. But my other, when I moved off campus and I moved into my apartments, I never had a TV in my room. And looking back on it, I was getting a pretty decent quality of sleep without having a TV in my room. And I also watched TV less and less. Things have changed since then. I do have a TV in my room. However, I think that in the next season, in my next house, I'm definitely not going to have a TV in my room. It's just, you know, the TV that I have now, it's not as simple. Yeah. Just move it out. You gotta I need somebody to come in.
Is different. I was about to say, like, you know, when I lived in different places, you know, it requires different stuff. But I also think as someone who was previously, you know, like in a domestic coupling, like we lived together, I think not having a TV in a room creates more intimacy for couples. Like, and I don't mean physical intimacy, but if both of y'all is laying in this bed,
that's what I was thinking,
and it ain't no TV on, you're forced to talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Because
or
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Or it could be physical. But what I'm saying is, it's a lot of times that I vividly remember, like, me and Royce's dad having the best talks in the morning, waking up with no TV on. Mm-hmm. Like, we would wake up and lay in the bed.
That's a good point.
He might have his phone on him, or he might show me something on his phone, and I might look at it, and then we'll start a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We'll just lay in the bed and just converse about life. You know, what we're going to do for the day, or what we thought about last week, or it creates... It takes away the distraction, and it creates more togetherness, in my opinion, you know, when you don't have stuff that's keeping you from each other. And I think that that's a good thing, you know, for couples, you know, just even then, not to have a TV in the room, we talked more, you know, like we did a lot more because we didn't have nothing else in there to listen to but each other.
No, that makes sense. That's actually a really great point to bring up, because I didn't think about that part of intimacy that occurs when you don't have this distraction that's in this intimate space with you. So I do want to move back into not having a TV in my room, because I do see the benefits. I did see the benefits of not having it in my room and just watching it, you know, less and less. Because I mean, when I was in college, I would tell people that, oh, did you catch such and such on? First of all, I didn't have time, like, really truly, to watch TV. I always went to school full time and worked full time, sometimes having multiple jobs at one time. When did I have time to sit down and watch TV? Yeah. And I was in other, like, organizations too, outside of, you know, my responsibilities, my daily responsibilities of going to school and working. So when I came home, it was sleep. You know, I had a little TV just for if I had friends over to come in, you know, kick it in the den, but that was even rare. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm just looking forward to this new season that I keep, like, speaking about, and, like, moving into new ways of living and exploring new ways of living. I ain't gonna lie. Like, maybe I won't leave my cell phone at home, but, like, maybe I'll leave it in a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in my mind, like, I always be thinking about in case of an emergency.
Yeah. No,
and you need to call.
Have it, but I just stick it in the bottom of my purse and the bottom of my bag. Like, I'm not, you know, it's, to me, I think, especially in the grand scheme of things, when I look in the totality of my life, like, you know, losing all my needs, you know, losing my niece, losing my son, my nephews, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. I just feel like if I lose a phone, it's a phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, my attachment to physical, tangible items is no more. Like, yes, I want you to respect my space and my things on a respect level. Like, yeah, don't just treat my stuff any kind of way. But I just look at all of this stuff like I can get that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've lost stuff in my life that I can't get back. So if I lose a little funky ass iPhone, I just lose it. You know what I'm saying? I go back and get another one. If not, I just won't have no phone. Yeah. I'm cool on that. Like, because it's just a phone. Like, I got an iPad. I got
it's a tangible
laptop,
thing.
You know,
it's a tangible thing. Yeah. No, I get it. Somebody said to me, though, like in terms of using your phone or feeling like, you know, in case of an emergency, he said, when I leave the house and if I leave my phone, I do not turn back around to go get it. He said, I don't care how close I am to the house. Once I leave out of the house, that's it for the day. And he said, when I'm at work, I'll use my office phone. Whoever needs to get in touch with me, that's important. Know where I work. I
used to feel that way, but see, my office, I have to have my phone to get in. We have our security system is like an app that we have to give IT. Yeah. So I have to swipe my phone to even get in my building. I mean, to get in on my floor of our building, into our office, into our suite. So that's the only thing I hate about work is because I have to have my phone on me. Like even for us to go to the bathroom, I have to swipe into the bathroom.
Yeah, like, that's another. We
gotta have this, and I hate that because it forces me to
have your phone.
Walk around this office with this phone, and I'll be like, I'm at work. I don't care about a phone, but I have to have it. Because God forbid I get locked out the office.
That's another stipulation that is a good point that we've woven in our tech and security solutions for a lot of workplaces into our phones, into our devices that we have. So it forces us to have them on us. We have similar apps on our phone, security system apps that we will need like on our phone for certain situations. So I can 100% understand that part of things. I feel like it's more beneficial if you work at a place where you don't have that. We don't need it to swipe to get into the building or anything. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah. But, you know, in his case, he was just like, you know, I don't turn around and go get it. And he said, I just go through the day. When I come home, I check my phone to see what I missed. And that's when I get back with people. But it takes away that obligation of feeling like I got to walk around with this phone all day and I gotta respond to people right when they, you know, text me, or, you know, you're more inclined to get on the internet and on your apps and kind of scroll and, you know, just do aimless things throughout the day that really it's not necessary for you to have a successful day. And so I thought that was really interesting, the fact that he lives his life like that. And the thing that made me think about what he said is because he talked about, well, I just said in case of an emergency, he said, you notice like we always say that, like we'll have our phones and say in case of an emergency, but emergencies, like they never actually happen.
But that's why I feel like that. That's why I feel like I don't answer the phone, because if there is an emergency, I'm not emergency personnel. I am not. I'm not an emergency personnel. I'm not a first responder. You know what I'm saying? I'm your attorney at the very least. I mean, I could get a call, but it ain't no emergency. It's nothing I can stop and do. I don't do medical. I ain't EMS. I ain't none of that. Like if it's a life or death situation. Like, for example, even if it was a client, I don't do criminal defense, but if you're in the process of getting arrested, that's still not an emergency because I can't stop you from getting arrested. I can come down to the police station and talk to you once they book you and all that other stuff, but then that's still not an emergency.
Right. Because at the end of the day, if it's an emergency, I would assume that people wouldn't call me first.
I would hope not. Like, they should know by now, baby.
Yeah, don't call me first. Like, call, like, the people that are... whose scope of support that is, because I am not that person. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I said, you're making a very valid point. But I be thinking in my mind, like the one day that I don't take it will be that one day where, you know, I will need, you know I catch a flat tire.
It's crazy that you say that, because I used to always live by that. And every time that there has been an emergency or I've gotten bad news that I felt like it was an emergency, like every time my sister called me to say that we lost, you know, my niece or my nephews, I was at home. Like all that, this is an emergency, I'm out. I was at home in my bed.
In the comfort of your
home. I literally vividly remember those calls. I was at home in my bed. When my son passed away, I was at home. His dad was at home. Like, it wasn't no emergency to call nobody. We had to call 911. That was it. Everybody, you know, so I say that, but it's like... Yeah. When do it really happen? We just be, I think that's just the way
same with my dad. I was at home too.
Yeah, we just let society like kind of put this, like fear monger us into feeling like we always have to be accessible. We always got to do this when really, I mean, I don't really think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, does anything really matter?
Nope. Janet Jackson told us that.
Oh, she did. I love that song, actually.
And Lauryn Hill told us, honey, nothing even matters at all.
That's what I always think
even if the
about.
skies could fall, nothing even matters
Lauryn
at
Hill
all.
and D'Angelo. Rest in peace to D'Angelo. Well, I thought that was really healthy to talk about for mind, body, and balance. Do you want to, you have something for rhythm and groove? We might be going out of order.
Yeah,
I don't
care.
keep track of the order anymore.
No, but I do want to add an aside. I know I'm usually coming with something for a sound check, but I feel like just with music, I think once again TV is important. We're talking about TV, but listen, I am in a chokehold right now because of Matlock.
I've never seen Matlock.
This new Matlock reboot with Kathy Bates. Oh baby, it is just it's the right amount of drama, the right amount of law, the right amount of messy and petty, and then there's a lot of overarching theme of grief in the show, which is essentially you have to watch it to understand, but it's so good. Like who's ever came up with this idea to reboot this and reboot it with Kathy Bates, they deserve a raise. Like, I'm just going to say that. They deserve a raise. Because at first I was like, I'm not even going to be interested in that. And I watched the first episode maybe about a week or two ago from the first season. And I've been stuck ever since.
Yeah, I mean.
Such a good show.
I've never seen Matlock. So maybe I will take a look. I have to watch the original first. Like, at least a couple
no, you
episodes.
Don't have to. Because they're not at all have anything to do with each other.
Oh,
this is just
I like Kathy Bates.
This is just using the name. Like, she talks about the old show. Like, essentially, it's not gonna give it away if I say this, but essentially, she's just a lawyer and she's changed her name to Matlock because she said that she really liked him growing up. Like, she was inspired by him. Put it that way.
So it references the show in that way.
Yes, but she's not related to the to the old Matlock. Like, she's not being presented to us as like his, child or sister or niece or anything. She's just a totally unrelated person. She's just using the name because she liked it.
Yeah, well, I gotta definitely check it out because I do like Kathy Bates. She's such an incredible actor, and I really like the things that I've seen her in. It's always a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Even when she's like, there's more of a comedic layer to the work that she's doing.
Like how she was. What movie was that? Was she in that Tyler Perry movie? Oh, The Family That Prays.
Yeah.
When she was the mom.
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk about, and I know you haven't watched it because we already talked about it a little bit, but this Diddy documentary that 50 Cent put out is very, very wild. I was not going to watch it originally because I felt like I'm not a documentary person. I've noticed, unless it's a documentary that is more of like a happy, kind of documentary.
But they have to be crime, and I like for them to be about things that I didn't already know.
Yeah,
like, I like to find out about new crimes.
I don't like true crime. That's Kenya Jam.
Oh,
true crime documentaries. I do not like.
I go to sleep for true crime podcasts.
So this is the thing. I noticed that like most documentaries like that, true crime, have to do with anything. It could be anxiety inducing for me. Okay. And so that's why I try to stray away from it. But like, I watched Eddie Murphy's documentary. That was really good too. And I love Eddie Murphy. So that was like it was more of a happy, documentary that was like, oh, this is like,
I was going to watch it, but when
more
I heard
of a celebration.
all the whatchamacallits about it, I felt like that would be a waste of my time. Because
the Diddy documentary?
No,
or Eddie Murphy?
The Eddie Murphy one, because everybody said he only talked about his career. Like, I watch documentaries to find out stuff that I don't know. Like, all of that stuff I could look up. Like, he didn't talk about all the personal stuff that we know. Like, talk about these scandals, nigga. Talk about you and the transsexuals that you were caught with in the 80s. Let's talk about the way you don't remember that?
No, I wasn't born in the 80s.
Comedians used to make jokes about. I remember back in the day on Comic View, this comedian, he sung this song and he was like, why Eddie Murphy sleeping with transvest? Diets. Like he had a whole, like there was a whole
What?
scandal about Eddie Murphy. Yes. Talk about how you treated Scary Spice like shit after she had your baby. Talk
do
about the
remember
real stuff
that.
that matters, sir. I don't give a damn about these movies.
I do remember that.
I want to talk about the real stuff.
And I was interested to know if that was going to come up, because I remember that being such a big scandal back in the day, and I was a kid at that point. But I remember that being a thing with him and Scary Spice, Mel B. And first of all, shout out to her, because I, like, growing up, like, realized that she was, like, to me, she was like the hottest one, like on the Spice, in the Spice Girls.
She was the best. She was the best all around. Like
that's what I mean. Like hot, everything. Like all the way around. Yes. Full circle, talent, style, beauty. Like she just really took it there. And she was my favorite Spice Girl. It's my favorite Spice Girl. I can't, like, if Spice Girls ever made a comeback, I'm there.
They were supposed to have a reunion tour, and I was so ready to buy tickets to go to it, and it never happened. Like,
yeah, somebody get them on the phone. We gonna have to call them or do something, because I need that to happen.
I was willing to go to London to go see this. Like, sir, ma'am.
Yeah, but I think that I understand what you're saying with the Eddie Murphy documentary. Overall, I do think that it was a nice, lighthearted documentary. I can watch stuff like that. Now, typically, I wouldn't go for, like, even the Diddy documentary, because it did have a lot of stuff that has already been, made known to the public. However, there were a lot of details mentioned in this documentary that I did not know. And, there's a lot of history around hip hop and the evolution of hip hop and the evolution of Bad Boy, Uptown Records, how all of this stuff even came to play, even down to like more granular details of the whole East Coast, West Coast beef. And it's like interesting to me, because at the time, all of this stuff was happening. I was a kid. When Uptown Records and all that was happening, I wasn't even born yet. So this is all missed information that I didn't get, growing up. And you grow up and you see these people, these artists, these producers through this one lens. And then as we get older, you tend to forget. Like, I forgot about all the different scandals that he was, that came out in the media about him. That was like, the criminal, aspect of the criminal scandals. And so that was very interesting to revisit those things, those details, and be like, oh, from an adult lens, and process like what that means, what that looked like in that time, through every time, really, any time frame. But there was a bit of nostalgia as well watching it, of course, because, they dove into the evolution of Bad Boy and the granular details of all the things. So there was a really like a nostalgic piece about it, but also they talked a lot about the fashion and Misa Hylton's influence on the fashion in hip hop and what we see today even. And I never really fully thought about that in the grand scheme of things. And so now I'm like looking at things from a different lens as far as artist development, and how we've seen, even from just a fashion lens, of like how things have evolved with her blueprint on everything. Yeah. It's like, dang, I really feel like she didn't get like the flowers that she deserved, honestly.
No. She didn't, but I think a lot of that is because of this relationship she had with Diddy. Like, yeah. And the
overshadowing.
Yeah, like a lot of people that I feel like she could have done a lot of work with, it was overshadowed. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna do business with somebody that's heavily connected to somebody that I don't think is, morally on the level that I need to be. And that would have been one of my reasons. Like, I love Misa Hylton to death, but she got too much, like I was just saying, she got too much loyalty to Diddy. Even now, you keep switching up. Like, you done been married to somebody else, had other kids after that. We don't hear about none of these other kids. No. But all you worry about is Justin because of his ties to Diddy. And nobody wants to be dealing with that. Like, but once again, I think Diddy also had a hand in trying to control where she went. We see that he don't like nobody to be better than him, to be bigger than him, to be a lot of stuff. He kept her under that bad boy thumb. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to branch out and do a lot of stuff with people like Mary and other people, but they were still connected to Bad Boy. Like, she needs to get out there well, now it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but
Yeah.
I think that whatever
So much time has passed.
that misplaced loyalty is what hindered her career.
Yeah, I can agree. Like that is that seems like a good way to like look at it. But I just thought that the whole documentary was very interesting. The way that it was put together was honestly very nicely done. The way that they compiled the information and followed the timelines of things, it was really nicely done, nicely produced. I'm not an advocate to say like, go watch the documentary. You know, if you want to watch it, cool. But grab your wigs, strap your britches on. It's a wild ride. And if you're a millennial, you're probably going to have some similar reflections that I've shared watching documentary. It's like, I don't know, for me, I guess kind of learning like the details of, we didn't know so many of these like dark details coming up about Diddy per se on the surface of which they're presented in the documentary. So there are a lot of points where you're going to be like, what? It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's my sound check. I do have a question for the Delicious Dive though. I saw this online the other day. Somebody said, do you think that a $25 tip on a $300 bill at Texas Roadhouse is a sufficient tip?
Absolutely not. That's less than 10%.
Yeah. So I felt the same way, but I went to the comments.
Care where I go, you tip standard 18 to 20% wherever you go. Now, if the service is really bad, you address that or whatever, but standard, I just feel like anywhere I go is gonna be 18 to 20. I just don't like when people automatically put gratuity on my bill, because I feel like you're taking away my autonomy to choose. Because if I have a really good server, I probably want to give them more. But if you already just took it out of my stuff, or you charged me before the meal even came to me, then I'm not gonna tip extra because you've already added your service fee. But no, I don't care where I'm at. I'm gonna tip the same at Waffle House. I'm gonna tip the same 18 to 20% at Waffle House as I would at Ruth Chris.
I feel like there's some type of psychology behind that too. Like when they automatically add the gratuity to your bill, I feel like people are like, you almost cheat the waiters out of what they could potentially get. Absolutely. Because people are going to be less inclined to tip, you know, what they would have tipped, or even add an additional, because I think it is like linked to the autonomy to choose. Like you feel robbed of that when you look at the receipt and you're like, oh, you already added the gratuity. And then the other thing is that hinders the service a lot of the times. From my own experience, when the gratuity isn't included, the service is not always good, because they know that they're going to get paid. They're going to get a tip regardless of how they serve you. So I think somebody should study that. But I went to the comments on this post, and the reason why I brought it up is because I think that tipping culture is a thing. It's obviously a thing because, you know, other people are talking about it. But there were so many different perspectives on this one question. There was a waitress in the comments that said, as a waitress, just give me the $25 and, you know, I'm straight. She says $25 more than what I walked in here with. And she was just like, I'm a hustler. That's what she said in the post. And then there were some people that were chiming in under her comment, like applauding her for that, like having that perspective and that mentality and that approach to working as a waiter, of gratitude, you know, in that way. But then there were some people who was like, absolutely not. Like what we're saying, like, no, that's not, I don't feel like that's a fair, you know, walkway.
I agree with the person that said that, because the thing is, I look at that, not saying it's right, because I just told y'all I tip, but I look at that as an occupational hazard. I feel like every job, there's some type of occupational hazard. And I feel like when you go and you sign up for these jobs that are service based and that are tipped based, you should automatically know going into it the occupational hazard of, I could potentially not be tipped. Yeah. And I think that has the right aspect and the right mindset to say that's more than I ever came in here with. And I think she's a person that would get more tips because she's obviously has a a very good and gentle, kind mindset about our job. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
looking at it. But I think that's an occupational hazard. Just like as a realtor, I'm not going out and showing people and doing all of this unless showing you properties unless you sign an exclusive agreement with me, because the occupational hazard is I'm not about to take you around wasting my gas and you don't buy a house. You see what I'm saying? But same things happens as an attorney. You'll sit on the phone with people for hours. You'll tell them what to do. You'll write stuff out for them. You'll do all this. I give people free legal advice all the time and they go against my advice. That pisses me off. That's an occupational hazard, and I no longer subscribe to that anymore. People call me, I'd be like, I don't know. You're gonna have to call somebody else. I don't know, because I'm tired of sitting here telling people what to do and they do something totally different.
Yeah.
It just happens. So I think that she's just right to have that mindset, because in the era of bad economy and people doing all kind of crazy stuff for clout and for views, that people might come to your restaurant and not tip you.
That is true.
And you got to be okay with that.
That is true. And yeah, definitely adding on that part of people coming in, cloud chasing, just being weird all the way around.
People
I think the
make
context,
everything for content. Like,
that's true. I think the context of the restaurant, like the details of the restaurant too, made a difference, because they said that this is like Texas Roadhouse.
It doesn't matter, but you still require the same service. I'm still gonna ask you to go get me a pop. Can you go get me some more water? Can you bring me some steaks?
Right.
I might need some extra cheese.
No, I was sharing that because of the amount of the bill is $300. So I feel like if you're at Texas Roadhouse, like Texas Roadhouse is pretty reasonable in terms of the cost per plate that you would pay, right? So that lets me know that, okay, they've done a nice amount of work, regardless, of anything. If you've spent $300+ at this establishment, and you should be willing to tip them accordingly, because
they did the work.
They did the work.
Regardless of anything, they did the work. Like,
now, if my standard for me, I do believe in tipping at least 20% of your bill. If the service is great, I'm tipping over that. Yes. Now that the economy is what it is, I try to tip more than 20%. Yeah. And I just leave it at that, because everybody, like she said, like, I'm a hustler. Like, they're in here hustling for $8, just like we go to work and hustle for hours. And I would hate to, come into an establishment and be waited on, or I hate going to like big dinners with people that don't like to tip. Yeah. That's like the worst, because here we are in this establishment getting waited on, and then a lot of those people, they be the pickiest people, give people the hardest time.
I don't know. I believe that if I go out to eat, my tip is included. Like, if I say my budget is $50, it's not $50 for my meal. It's $50 for the experience. Yeah. So I'm going to eat within that budget, because I know I also have to tip. You see what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't agree with people not like the tip is not extra. That's a part of your fee. But and I always listen, I ain't trying to be that person, but that just goes to show you that there's an issue in American culture, because as somebody myself that goes out to other countries, especially European countries a lot, tipping is an American thing. And that's just because we don't require them to pay the servers enough. You don't tip people if you tip somebody in Europe at a dinner table, that's disrespectful. And you go to Europe, they don't tip. They don't take doggy bags and to-go plates and stuff, because their portions are small enough for you to enjoy the entire portion in one sitting. They don't overindulge like Americans, where we get a whole lot of food and gotta take shit home. And you don't tip them because they pay their waitresses or their waiters nice already. Right. Like, so you don't have to do that. So it's so weird when you go to places and you see that. But what's crazy is every time I've been in another country, as somebody that's traveling, as a foreign traveler, as a black woman, I've never been out of this country. And maybe I have, and I've forgotten the experience because I don't keep up with bad shit. But I can't recount one time that I've been out of the country and been to a European country, an Asian country, a South American country, and I was met with bad service. Yeah. It's usually in the airports or somewhere where it's some Americans. When you go somewhere in Europe, and even as a black woman, I've never been treated like my service is always top notch. And I want to tip, but I can't. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because that's not their cultural or societal norm, and they look at it as disrespectful. So I don't want to disrespect you because you've given me good service, but I want to tip you because I think you should get a tip. But they be like, no, we're already paid well. Like, they're paid well enough. And I think that's a bigger issue. We wouldn't have such an issue with Americans tipping or it being an issue with people not feeling like they're being tipped well if they were being paid well from the beginning.
That is very true.
$2.13 as a waitress is unconscionable as shit.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
That's a fact. That is a fact. When I found out how much they made when I was in college early on, I was like, what? Okay. That set the tone for me of, no, like, tipping is a thing. And it's a non-negotiable. If you feel like you don't want to tip or you don't want to tip accordingly, then you can always stay at home. You don't have to go out and have a dining experience that requires for people to wait on you. So,
but on the flip side, can y'all stop putting tips and stuff on people's pickup orders when they going to go? Like, these restaurants have got out of control. Like,
why am I? That is a good point.
I done went to pick up a cheese pizza from Jets, and y'all done already put an 18% gratuity, and I done had to come out of my house. This wasn't no delivery.
Yeah, so I'm tipping you just for like cooking
for putting my pizza in the box, which you was gonna do anyway, because I had to get out the car and come in here and get it.
That's part of the food price that I'm paying for.
Bingo. So that's
for it to be prepared and packaged for me.
That's the flip side of the thing where people get frustrated is because it's a lot of people out here trying to force tips on us. Like, I've seen that online. I've ordered food online for pickup at a place, and when I get to the thing, they done already put a 10 or 15% gratuity on there. I had to go and put 0 on there because I'm on my way to come pick this up from y'all.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been there of like, why are they trying to add this on to my bill?
I ain't eating in y'all establishment. I ain't using none of y'all lights, gas, and none of this in here. I'm about to go home.
Not using the lights and gas is crazy.
but to me, that's a part of the in restaurant experience. I don't mind paying a tip or a service charge, all that other stuff, because I'm utilizing your experience, your space, your services.
Yeah, I'm
not even about to use a napkin from this place.
Rightfully so. Like,
if any place I should be tipping on a to-go order, it should be Chipotle, because I steal all their napkins and forks.
So you need to be tipping over 20% if that's the case. You definitely need to. I may or may not be guilty of that too. If that station is open,
Chipotle, y'all got good quality forks. Those are some good.
They do have good quality forks.
Quality forks, and they got some nice napkins. They go real well in my glove compartment in my car.
They do. So I'm not against it. I'm just saying, like, that's a real,
because I know I'm about to get my tip worth. Okay.
Yeah, I understand. No, that's a real thing.
You was not about to put no tip on my food at the Coney Island. I ordered some chili cheese fries, and you want me to tip you, and I had to come in here and get them.
So you would think, like, in my mind, I know, like, that we are all different. We're all walking a different life, and we have different experiences and perspectives on everything, right? But when I was reading the comments, it was just like some of the people were just like, well, they better take this $10 or this $20 and it was just like, okay, like, I guess to each his own. But then on the other side of the spectrum, I was just thinking, like, here I am thinking that everybody knows that, you know, what the standard is or should be. But I realized that the standards change for everybody depending on who you are, how you were raised, and what you know, what information you are you've had access to. So I just thought that was interesting. Like, we haven't talked about that, like tipping culture and like how that plays a way into our dining experiences and even the experiences globally, like what that looks like. So I thought that was really interesting. We actually don't have a confession for y'all today, but looking forward to the next few episodes where we may have a confession to share with you guys. You got anything else you want to add, Tash?
No.
Okay. Well,
tip these people though. Quit! Don't do that. Like,
tip these people.
Like these people working hard. You know what I'm saying? Whether they working as young adults to put themselves through school or just to survive, whether these are parents taking care of households and stuff, you never know what people's situation is. So and
also, like, and just to add on to that, for the people that like to give people a hard time, please stop doing that. When you go out and you dine somewhere, don't go out and expect for everything I do think that we should expect a quality, a certain quality of service, right? I'm not saying that we should go out and just accept anything, but what I am saying is that sometimes people are, I've been in settings where I've seen like people treat servers a certain way, be unkind to them, be impatient with them. You know, maybe this is their first week on the job.
That's the
maybe
quickest way for me to not go out to eat with you ever again.
Yeah,
like,
I don't play
to
that.
do stuff
like
that.
I
don't like to go out with people who give waiters and servers a hard time. And I can say that because everybody know I'm a very picky eater, but I know what I want and I know how I like it. So I'm not gonna put a server through a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I might ask a question about something on the menu, but I already know what I want. I'm not gonna do that to people, and I don't like people who cut up at the airport. Like, I don't agree with that.
No,
like,
I don't like
those
people.
Are two things that you do with me will put you on my no list. Like, I don't take people places that cut up. If you don't tip your servers and stuff, or if you keep complaining and want to clown about food and stuff, I don't like that. Two, if you do that shit in the airport, I'm definitely not going nowhere with you.
You're on the no-fly list.
Yeah, like, even if you don't make it to the no-fly list for them people, you on my no-fly list. Like, I got a homegirl. Me and her cool to this day, but after she showed out and caught herself going off on some people at the airport when we went on an international trip together years ago, and never to this day have I ever traveled with her again. We still kick it. We talk on the phone. We meet up in the city. We do other stuff. But traveling with her is an absolute hell no in my book. I never go nowhere with her with that ever again. The way she
because it's embarrassing.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, like, if you don't take nothing else from this episode, just be kind. You never know. You never know who you're entertaining at the end of the day, who you're coming in contact with. But more importantly, we are just human beings living a human experience and trying our best. And our best looks different every day, no matter what industry we work in. And a lot of times, I won't say a lot of times, a lot of us who have never worked in the food industry, who never worked in the serving industry, probably wouldn't last a day in that industry. I'm just going based off of my friends' experiences and what I know through their lens of living, and the people that I know who have been servers. I'm like, absolutely not. So be kind, y'all, and be mindful, you know, of how you carry yourself in public, and tip well. Follow us on everything. You know, we ain't got no tipping system for real, but
no, I mean, we do have, actually, if you follow us on Instagram, I think, and on TikTok, we do have a link tree. And our link tree does allow you to buy us coffee or cocktails. So if you're ever in the spirit of feeling like, you know, it's the holiday season, or just because it's Monday and you want us to have, you know, tea, coffee, or wine, we're always accepting donations.
Oh, yeah. So
yes, I did put a link there. You know, Tash is always going to be about $1. So I did put a
tip
link.
Your favorite tip your favorite podcast, and that,
yes,
and
it
that
does say buy us a coffee. And I will actually post
way.
it on our Instagram this week so people can see. But yes,
yeah,
there is a link that says buy us coffee. Actually, I think I put
Please
buy
do.
us wine or cocktail, or coffee or cocktail, or something like that is what I put it as. But we do have the ability to do such a thing if you guys would love to.
Yeah, well, you know, tip us, you know, at this point. Follow us on all platforms. Well, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, at the Soulful Stir. Comment, like, subscribe, send to your friends, write us a review, all the things. If you love this podcast, you like this podcast, you know, you're just now getting into it, we appreciate y'all. And thank you for tuning into another episode of the Soulful Stir.